What else we got in the queue? Speaking of murdering planes, let's go play Kidd. I'll take Classics Kidd game here, and we'll get into some destroyers for a bit. I mean, so Beverly, here's the thing. Technically, officially, the other people on my team are my allies, but the reality is that I'd say 6 games out of 10, the people on your team are actively trying to find a way to lose. Probably not even intentionally, but that's sort of how it works out. So yeah, usually you're at war with your own team as well. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this for you. I hope so, Night Owl. Yeah, I didn't get a carrier. Figures. I love playing this boat, but you just can't get the matchmaking you need. I do have some subs to murder. See, I can go hunt Gabe to extinction. I like this plan. I like it. I like the idea of going and hunting Gabe to extinction. Well, we're middle tier. There's not a ton of tier 9s. In fact, there's only 2. We can manage. I got a Sturdy with me, backed up by this Russian thing, which is just smoking DF, and a Duncan. They have 1 radar, and I'm outspotted by both of their torpedoes. So I'm not outspotted by, I don't think the U-190 and I are pretty close. I forget what the detection is on an S-189. It's a joke, Beverly. It's a joke. Very commonly in World of Warships, players make suboptimal decisions or will actively make bad decisions. Like, this is a game that to some extent rewards patience. Knowing when to shoot, when not to shoot, how to position your ship, how aggressive you should or shouldn't be. All of these things factor into your survivability. A lot of those skills you develop either by playing a lot of games, playing for many years, or spending a lot of time watching other people do that on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. Fine. Here's the struggle. And this is not even, it's just reality. Here's the reality of the situation. A lot of people don't have time to invest in all that mess. And so they play the game as engines full speed, drive at the enemy until dead. Now, the other struggle with that is that, again, I'd say half the time or more, that results in that player, that ship dying, having accomplished nothing. So when you have a lot of those people on your team and you look up and suddenly the opposing... your team has lost 5 ships and the opposing team hasn't lost any, that feels pretty awful. And it happens a lot more than you want it to. All right, we're going to try to pick up this cap. It's going to be a waste of time. I'm going to get pushed out by what looks like the sub. I can't tell which sub. That's the Jaeger right there. So I've got the Jaeger and one of the subs up here. Somebody's in... Yep, the Jaeger's in the cap with me. What's up, my dude? You want to get in a gunfight with me? All right, let's go. I don't think you're going to like how that works, though.
I'm going to feel that one in the morning.
You should never fired your guns, son. You're still firing your guns.
Damn. Desert road, no gas, and no chicks.
Now you're about to beat yourself. And you're about to beat yourself at an angle that you can't fire your torpedoes. I'm still not sure why you fired your guns. Especially the second time. The second time you did it, it made no sense. Jaeger is going to hate his life. Because as long as I live, he's going to get shot at. Go away, Gabe. I'm busy. Oh, that's not Gabe. That's the 190. All right. Well, whatever. I'm still busy. I'm getting pushed. See, this is one of those situations where we probably could have won. Probably could have won this matchup. But instead, we're going to lose because My battleship abandoned me. Literally abandoned me. So, guess what, sir? Take one of these and get off my map.
Time to put on the beer goggles.
Much better.
Shame. The Jaeger is playing so badly. I could have easily killed that guy. So this is exactly the sort of thing that I'm talking about, Beverly. Right? This battleship right here, this guy right here, this Duncan spawned right up here north of me, and all he's done is sail away from the side of the map that he should have been fighting over, and accomplish nothing while doing it. That's all he's done. That's been his entire game. Well, you can, Beverly. I generally play solo. That's just how I roll for whatever reason. Now, the interesting thing is, I need to get eyes on the Nueve. The Florida's effing off to mid, which is fine. That's what he should be doing. What I'm wondering is what the Nueve is doing. If the Nueve goes with him, I can probably circle around and ruin somebody's day. I'm going to go north for a bit until I know for certain where the Nueve is, one way or another. Turn my A off, actually. I'm RPF'd, but I'm probably RPF'd by the Jaeger, and I sort of don't care about that guy. He doesn't frighten me. Now, they're not divved up. No, okay. Plus, we know the sub is still over here, and I'd love to murder that guy. Okay, there's the Nueve. That's fine. I'm actually okay with this plan. My team is just, my team is winning on kills, but this Duncan literally spawned on the 8 line and ran to the 3 line. That's all he's done this game. Unbelievable. Are you sure you want a piece of me? Okay. This is what I was hoping for, actually. I was hoping to generate this exact engagement by doubling back, figuring that somebody would get overconfident. Okay, so the Nueve is close, which means I probably don't want to be here anymore. The only good cockroach is a dead cockroach. It's fine.
Got him!
Time to put on the beer goggles.
This Nueve is so irritating.
Much better.
Luckily, he's only got 4-kilometer hydro, which means I can just smoke and run straight away from him, and he can't do anything about it. He'll end up probably trying to use the smoke, and that's fine. I sort of don't care. I do sort of wish I had defensive, engine boost. It's one of those rare games where I'd be getting more out of engine boost than out of, it'll come to me in it. Out of defensive fire, of course. All right. Next teal come up in a minute. I'm going to move out here past this island, then I'm going to circle back to the west. The Pozarski at least has been staying to help me deal with this clown, which makes me very, very happy. Who was it I was talking? We were having the conversation with Happa and Seven and all those guys the other night, and they were complaining about depth charges. And I said, well, part of your problem is you're probably playing the wrong boat, right? If you play an American, Japanese, or British destroyer, your depth charges hit like trains, right? That guy basically went from full health to dead in 6 hits. That's exactly the kind of stuff you can do with these depth charges. Okay, now I don't know where... Okay, the Jaeger bought it. So literally we kill this Julio, and I can backcap C very, very easily. Now we can't spot him because smoke, which is irritating, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, I know, the Duncan's in G2. The Duncan spawned in C8, and he's now in G2, having gone the long way. Go figure. Whatever. Come on, Pozarski. Murder this guy. You want help? I'll give him something else to shoot at. Here, let's you and I tag team him. I'm not afraid of him. I'm really not afraid of a Nueve when I've got help. He's going to get all his guns flipped around. I'm about to go behind an island. That's not going to do him any favors. Just keep him lit. This is what I love about Kidd. I can be as ballsy as I want with it. Like ordinarily, I would never take a gunfight against a light cruiser, but knowing that I've got 2 more heals in the bank means that I legit don't care. Like, he's gonna throw some shells at me, and I'm gonna take some damage, and like, I just don't care. I'll just heal it all back. I just like, whatever. God bless Kidd. What's up, Dodgy? So Beverly, I play all kinds of stuff. Mostly what I stream is World of Warships and Civilization 6. I stream a little bit of Hell Let Loose. I have been slowly working on plans for streaming board game streams from downstairs on my gaming table. Actually, that's something I can talk about real briefly. Who saw the new trailer this week for Masters of the Air? Right? Say something in chat. I want to know if you guys are excited about that show as I am, because it looks really good. Who saw the new trailer? Hetman did. Yeah. Okay. So, Afson, we're gonna tie board games to the 8th Air Force in a moment. That's where I'm headed with this. All right. So, Electric hasn't heard of it, so I will educate you. So, Electric, of course, you know, a number of years ago, about 21 years ago, right? HBO did a miniseries with Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, where they detailed the experiences of Easy Company, the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, right? 101st Airborne, called Band of Brothers. And then later on, about 7-8 years after that, they came back and they took I'm going to get their names wrong. It was Eugene Sledge and what was the other book? Robert Leckie. So they took the books of Robert Leckie and Eugene Sledge and turned that into a miniseries called The Pacific. Mostly about the United States Marine Corps in the Pacific in World War II and their various engagements. And so for a number of years, since almost about 10 years now, there's been a series in development about the United States 8th Air Force, the B-17 daylight bombing campaigns that marked... I don't want him to know that I'm here. That marked the European theater. Oh, come on. Don't get spotted. No. You fat idiot. Oh, screw it.
Time to put on the beer goggles.
And so there is a book that was written, and I forget the author's name, and it was called Masters of the Air, and it was literally about the United States 8th Air Force. And so for a number of years, they've been trying to get that series into development, and Apple TV has managed to finish it, and it's premiering at the end of January. And that's going to be a thing.
Another day, another disembowelment.
And so a number of years ago, 30-ish years ago, when I was in high school, I bought an Avalon Hill board. Donald Miller, thank you, Hetman, appreciate you. I bought an Avalon Hill board game published in 1983. It's called B-17, Queen of the Skies. This particular game was of interest to me because at the time I was playing heavily a computer game by Microprose called B-17 Flying Fortress. I think it might have been the second edition. Microprose, incidentally, is in the middle of re-releasing, redeveloping, and reissuing that game.
A crowbar would come in handy right about now.
I'm going to have to go over here and murder Gabe. We've got to kill this Kansas first. So, I love history. I love history, Beverly. So, when I was in college, I had this game, and it's a solo board game. This is the first time in my life I ever encountered a solo board game. The game was designed from the ground up to be solo played. I thought this was fascinating. So,
welcome to Jurassic Park.
That game used to sit in my footlocker when I was in college. And for years, it sat there. And then after we got married, thank you for the follow, FM. Absent, it's on my Christmas list. I actually do want a copy of Under Falling Skies. Anyways, back to the 8th Air Force. So, I put this particular copy of the game into a crate with a bunch of other games that for years sat in the closet just behind me here. Okay, so Gabe is an A doing a cap thing. And I finally had to go clean that closet out this past weekend to where I could reach he might actually blunder into one of those, but I don't think they have the range. I could get the game out, and I finally found my copy. It's probably been in that box for 15 years. And when I opened it back up, it still had the old campaign sheets from when I was in high school for the campaigns that I played. And what I'm going to do, it's a solo board game. It's very easy to set up. I'm going to spend a little time over the holidays with the camera set up down in the room, and I'm going to play some of that in January on stream. Now, it's just purely a dice game. Almost exclusively. It's just you roll dice and hope you don't explode, right? So I won't pretend it's the best thing ever. But I still enjoy it. I find it to be... I find it quite enjoyable. It's a lot of fun because it's a subject matter that I like. Oh, you worked for... That's right. You told me you were going to PAX U working for CGE. I love that. There's a game that I demoed years ago for Fantasy Flight I still need to get a copy of. I demoed it back at in BGG Con for in 2018 or something. It's called Majesty. It was I still need a copy of that one. I really quite liked it. It's like a set building kind of game. It's a lot of fun. Admiral, yes and no. You have to remember... Oh, crap. I'm in the Missouris. I've sailed directly to the Missouris radar range without realizing I've done it. Y'all really need to kill the Missouri. All right. Let's pick a fight with something with 16-inch guns. Because I think I can win. And Gabe got his cap, so he got some more XP. I see what you did there, Meat Pie. Admiral, one of the things about, you talk about 12 O'Clock High. It's the same subject matter, but 12 O'Clock High is not really the story of the men or the campaign. 12 O'Clock High is really a story about, it is a story about the men, but it's really a story about the leaders, right? 12 O'Clock High is really a story, a tale of leadership and the toll that being, wow, that's a surprising result, that being a leader in a combat unit like that takes. He's talking about the Pacific, Mr. October. It's not a direct sequel. And so 12 O'Clock High, while it uses the context of daylight bombing raids and the 8th Air Force to tell the story that it wants to tell, 12 O'Clock High is really a character study. right? It's really the character study of Frank Savage and how he deals with, or doesn't deal with, the burdens of command. It's, you know, when you go back and you look at the era that film was made in, it was about 1958 or so, something along those lines. One of the things that really stands out about it is it's almost a modern war film made 40 years before anybody made modern war films, right? And by modern war films, I basically, to me, there's a demarcation line. There's everything that came before Saving Private Ryan, and then everything that came after, right? And so you kind of look at it like it's interesting that they made that movie at all, in my mind. Because, you know, so many of the war movies, you go back and look at the war movies that era, it's John Wayne and The Longest Day and, you know, Where Eagles Dare, and they're adventure films, right? They make war seem adventurous, glamorous almost. 12 O'Clock High makes no bones about the story it's trying to tell. The war the 8th Air Force is fighting is not glamorous at all, not remotely, but it has to be done. And so it's very telling the era they made that film in my opinion. If memory serves, they still use 12 O'Clock High, the film. I've never actually seen the TV series, but they still use the film at like West Point and the academies, like you know, Annapolis and stuff as part of their leadership and command courses, which they should, as far as I'm concerned, because it is. It's stunning. I mean, it's a great movie, but it's still hard to watch sometimes, right? It really is.